of connecting on a universal level, being aware of bird song outside, literally, like the stillness itself. Like there were times in this process I was so still, and y'all, I had like a squirrel come up to me once and it tripped me out, because I guess I don't know how still I got, because I've had my moments where I'll meditate or I'm going into trance, but for whatever reason I guess the squirrel did not realize I was sitting there somehow, and I just observed the fact that I must have been sitting so still. This squirrel was like all around me with no problems. I think there's an anxiety, right, and a fear, a level of fear vibration that can take place when we're on the earth plane, and we may be operating out of that setting. And I think you can tell by how animals are responding to you, especially the extra skittish ones with Honor the Squirrel, how you're vibing. You know what I'm saying? I think there's going to be more of that kind of awareness coming up, because how we're vibing is also how we're attracting, and what we're bringing into our experience. And I do think a lot of what we're experiencing down here is kind of a training for what comes next. I've looked at it as dream training before, because if we're going to be no longer in a dense, this level of density, to have a physical form, right? When we're going up to other forms, being able to hold a stillness and being able to focus with intention and travel and those sorts of things, I feel it's going to require training, and that's part of the reason why we're here, right? Beyond the veil, there can be different portal type experiences. Some of you may be seriously having experiences with the fae, experiences with birds, rabbits. It's giving, like, I'm just going to use for convention the word doors, right? Like opening and kind of gently closing. I don't see anything extra spectacular about this in terms of like it being, very eventful, right? It seems very featherlight. All of this seems very featherlight. But, you may ask yourself, like, okay, what just happened? And even as I'm saying this, I did have an experience today, because I believe I saw a hummingbird out here, and I don't typically see hummingbirds. And I was ready to pull out I'm looking at the hummingbird. It was the cutest thing. And I'm thinking to myself, because I was going for a walk, and I was like, okay, I do have time to pull out my camera and get this, because this is wild. There's actually a hummingbird in the courtyard or whatever. And by the time, and it wasn't, the cameras were right next, it was right in my purse. So when I looked down very quickly to grab my camera and look back up, it was straight up gone. And they obviously move very fast. But I did have a thought cross my mind of like, was that, you know what I mean? Like, was that some portal type situation? Because they do happen, y'all. That I've actually seen. But this just made me wonder, was this a portal situation? Because how did it move that fast? It wasn't on the tree that was, farther away from it. It wasn't in the bushes up ahead. It wasn't on the roofs. Like, it wasn't anywhere around. Like, it was just gone. And initially it was very close to the ground when it was flying. So I was like, okay, like how? I mean, I know they move fast, but like I quickly looked down to grab my phone and that was it. So the fact that it was gone in that moment, clearly didn't want his picture taken, A. And B, I don't even know, I don't even know, right, like what layer of dimensionality it was on. But it was certainly looking quite physical, so. With that said, there can be these sorts of portal openings, and that's what just made me think of that, is the fact that came through in the reading. Some people may be dealing with some tender things with divine partnerships, and also very, very, very sacred sisterhoods or sacred brotherhoods. If there were tensions, there's like a healing balm, BALM. Healing salve, if you will. There's this energy of healing coming in. This is not meant to be an overnight process for what I'm picking up, but it's going to be easier to let some things go. I'm not speaking right to necessarily everyone's story, but it does feel like it wants to be mentioned. I think when we talk about divine partnerships, and not in any kind of gimmicky way, they're in the coming weeks, 5 to 6 is coming to me, so I'm picking up like 5 to 6 weeks, but it could be 5 to 6 days for some people. Those numbers seem to be significant here. And in numerology, that would be like Mercury and Venus, respectively, you know, the 5 and the 6. By the system I use, Westernized system, I feel like there's an aspect of being able not to step back, but being able to, like, how do I describe this energy? Okay, so it's almost like not ride the neck of, and now the other partner can think. So however this lands in anyone's experience, that is coming through. And in the sitting back, there's like light around the head. Not necessarily in like a full-on halo effect, but I feel like for the divine partner, because I'm being told it could be either or. There's a realization and possibly some ancient memory that's going to come up in the process. I don't think they wanted me to say spirit. I don't think the ancestors want me to say anything else about that. Love is waiting for you. Let it in. Is a reward card. Willow is the plant elder associated with this card, and sacred blooming. 10D or 10th density comes up here. This is about how you create in the world, why you create in the world, what you create in the world. There's going to be a huge emphasis on that for really moving towards summer and on past next summer. So I don't think I'm going to go that far as like see how far after that predictively, but that's what's coming through here. And this is really like standing in your own presence and knowing that like, it's more than all right, because that's the actuality of like your existence down here. It's the emanation you chose to come in with, and there was choice involved in the process, and that like whosoever is truly integral in the weave of light in your story embraces that already, you know. So it's really, it's like a relaxation process, and then quietly, possibly like not saying anything like narcissistic or anything like that, but like quietly sitting back and just appreciating yourself, because you were created for a reason. I mean, I know everyone has like their belief systems, and I'm not trying to be triggering with words, you know what I'm saying? But whether you feel like you were self-created, you know, however, you know what I'm saying? I definitely believe in a creator and have experienced the creator non-religiously. But everyone has their belief system. Spiritually speaking, you exist for a reason. You have an emanation that comes with you for a reason. It has an impact. And more than one school of thought has made it very clear some of the harder paths, it's usually because there's a lot of light to the individual that may experience scapegoating, that makes, you know, that there can be uncomfortability that people feel, almost like really loose symbolism, but like people trying to sleep, you know what I'm saying? And you're coming up in the room with all that light, and like they're squinting, they're like, damn, like, you know, it's similar to that, or like Inception, where they enter, you know, the dream, and when the dreaming people realize they're not supposed to be there, it's all sorts of problems and things. The construct of the dream starts to kind of crumble. So I feel like people who are coming in with like a very high harmonic, it challenges the structure of what they're coming into, and sometimes whatever is accustomed to that structure or clutching for dear life to that structure may feel very threatened by what's come in, you know what I'm saying, with that light. So I hope that's helpful, a helpful way to describe it. I don't want to go too much longer, but strange code bloom language is the level up advice. Please embrace your unique imprint. Your voice is your voice for a reason, and I'm not just talking about your voice, right, that we hear, but your voice through the pen, you know, your viewpoint, your touch, your style. Embrace that, and you're going to know to what degree you want to share that with others, and how you feel that it's right. And look, some of y'all might not want to share it with everybody. Maybe it's for you to have some sort of membership, you know, where specific people, like, you know, it might be a very sacred energy you're bringing in, and that's not going to be, you know, necessarily for everybody. So there are different ways for you to express yourself and feel safe, and with the amount of empaths and earth angels we have on the planet, I think it's important to remind that you have this uniqueness for a reason. You're bringing your very unique, very precious, very sacred. I don't know. Why is the word blueprint trying to come to me? Maybe it is a blueprint, right? Maybe you're bringing very finely, a fine density, right? In the light that you bring to pathways that only certain people are going to be able to walk. And who knows if it's any of these generations present. This could be 20 generations from now, for all we know. There's a lot of star seeds that come down here, and there are reasons. So, I hope that is a helpful reminder. And the sister in this card has there's this color of pink over the hair, and go figure, it looks like a feather. It's actually from a palm tree, kind of an overlay image, but it ended up looking pink. So very interesting symbolism. And divine reflection is protection comes up as level up advice. We can be afraid sometimes to be beheld. I feel like saying, I promise you, there is more acceptance coming from the beholder of you than you think. And I kind of feel like that's all I should say regarding that. But it's really about coming up to the light and being willing to be acknowledged. And that, I think, is where I'm okay. Well, one more thing. Star Milk is the overall energy here. There's going to be a lot more sacred dreaming happening. Dream journals are recommended, y'all. Also, grape agate is excellent for helping you with dreaming. There's also Lemurian dream quartz. These are real stones. I recommend working with those and lapis lazuli. Those of you who don't have acute sensitivities to azurite, that might be something to start off with little by little as well, for dreaming purposes. But I'd probably put on a dream catcher or something. I don't know about having it too close to the head if you're super sensitive to energy, because it can cause things for real. And the other things can cause something, but it's gradual. As azurite, approach very gently, and take some time with it. Maybe very short doses of meditation, similar to amethyst. I don't feel like you want to sit with it just at extended lengths of time unless you're built for that. And ecstatic winged heart is coming up with Star Milk. It's a higher message for the overall reading, and there are these contacts, telepathic contacts, dream contacts, vision contacts, different messaging that's coming in, and it should feel gentle, or it's not what we talk about. It's not what's coming through in this reading. If it doesn't feel gentle, if it doesn't feel respectful, if you are going into a tension where you feel like you have to guard yourself, not what is being discussed in this reading. But this is to encourage heart opening and to encourage, much like what came through Natou's collective reading, where she was talking about, sometimes I'm trying to do trance stuff and analytics, y'all. I gotta relax a little bit more. It's now I'm losing it. Well, it's something came through in Natou's reading. I don't know if you remember Natou. Why is it going away? I'm going into this not anxiety, but this energy of tensing because I can't remember off top. Trying to be in two spaces at the same time. I'm too much in trance mode, y'all, but I feel like there's something that came through in Natou's reading that this speaks to, what's coming up here. So do open to the degree that you can to what's waiting for you. There's a lot in the way of self-embrace. We've been through a lot. It shouldn't hurt your ears, right? Anything you're, aligning your energy with, check in to see how you feel first. And I feel like that's the way, for moving forward. Neptune is now in Aries. It's in the first degree of Aries. We do have to check in with ourselves first. Checking in with everybody else before we check in with ourselves is so last century. We got to check in with ourselves first. And then we're going to have the answers we need for our calibrations and our incarnation, and depending on where you're moving with a harmonic, you're going to be able to be where you feel most comfortably aligned. And I do think that there's there's a desire for that universally, that more people are doing that. All right, y'all. That is pretty much it. And I am like, it's bothering me, but it'll probably come back to me later. There was something in particular, and then I think I was trying to remember so much what it was that I lost the thought. But I thank you all for listening. Peace be upon you. Many, many blessings on this pathway. These energies are beautiful. And yes, it's healing energy. I definitely feel like the shot, like I agree with what came through with Natou. I agree with like everything that came through with Natou, but there's this particular point of, there having been shadow work, but this not really being about that. This is like, I want to call it emergence, but emergence like for a part of you that has been through it and feeling comfortable to emerge, and having the voice to not emerge, right? If you don't want to emerge around certain energies, it could be certain folks, maybe they're vibrating and you don't, a certain way, and you don't want to emerge there, and you could say, oh, no, thank you, I'm actually going to go in this direction, but thank you, thank you so much for inviting me, or that kind of thing. Like there's ways to no longer get caught in situations where you feel like your energy is being fed on, or you're being lured into something. And I think that these are the very gentle and beautiful experiences that we're walking into. So blessings upon it. And again, thank you for coming through and holding space.
Almost forgot. All right. So what's coming through quite clearly is Spirit is directing us especially in this space, in this gathered space, or shared space, for us to start to deepen our faith in the divine timing of things. There is a call for us to surrender, to loosen our grip, so that we can align ourselves with our current station on our pathways. This does feel like it's less, it doesn't have like that heaviness of shadow work. This is more of looking to the beauty of life, um getting into the divine feminine side, even if you are a male, for those who feel like, oh, that's weird, and I'm a man, I shouldn't be doing that. But in a way, like we carry both aspects, and both aspects help us to sort of navigate life on a daily basis. So this energy of looking to the beauty of life, looking to be receptive to assistance. If you've been praying for a long time for things to change, you've been looking for help, you've been looking for some sort of an activation in your life, but then there are people and there are opportunities that have presented themselves, but you have probably, I don't know, shied away from it, or felt like you weren't ready. uh the fact that it arrived at your doorstep meant that you were ready. Obviously, in no situation is not every situation is black and white. You use your discernment. If you do feel a high level of danger, trust in your gut. Consult with the ancestors, consult with your divine guardians. But there is something here that is speaking to turning our attention to the silver linings of things, turning our attention to gratitude, because gratitude is what helps us to align with more abundance. It's the communication to the universe that we are in a receptive energy. We are in a positive, we're not, and I want to say that, I want to rephrase that. We're in a receptive energy. I'll keep it as that. Um, these types of, so this is coming through because there's like a path that is unfolding for you, for anyone in here. A lot of times, in order for us to connect with our vulnerability, and that's what this conversation really is about connecting with our vulnerability, is so that we can start to take risks that have to do with our purpose, that have to do with the reason why we came down here. um a lot of times people say, trust in the direction that you're going. You might not know where you're going, but the path begins to unveil itself as you take actionable steps. So this is about, connecting with your momentum, connecting with movement, connecting with flow, Again, trusting yourself, trusting your heart space, getting in a, your heart space in alignment. Venus did come up. And that is definitely that definitely does connect to the heart chakra, self-love. Could, and that love create, or that heart opening, creating and allowing for sort of clarity to take place with your inner guidance. All right. Okay. I think a lot of us have been through a lot of healing. This feels like next phase energy. I think the karmic those karmic cycles are coming to a close. It's like lessons learned. Okay, that makes sense as to why spirit was like clear in that this is not like shadow work related. A lot of us have done a lot of work, and it's time to enjoy life and using those defense mechanisms, or I don't even want to say that, but like those tools that we kind of grabbed at when we felt like we had to guard ourselves against opposition or energies that wanted to, meant us harm, that we're no longer in those spaces. Right now is about really looking around and seeing how much safer it is to exist, to show up in your light. And the more that you do that, the more you align with people who are going to be receptive to it, the more people that are going to see it and acknowledge it and respect your boundaries, put respect on your name. There is a sort of returning to your earth walk with more confidence, being more rooted. There's something about trees having deep roots and standing strong in who you are, in your identity, and not moving because moving due to, I don't know, based off of other people's opinions. Your uniqueness and like who you are, what you are meant to do, is going to be way louder than any template or blueprint that society tried to put on you, that family or whatever tried to put on you to convince you that you were meant to be walking another path. You know what path you're meant to be walking. Oh yeah, we are okay. So what's coming through? So this is this is a highly transformative moment taking place there. I feel people could be experiencing situations with the eyes, with the throat, with the nose, with the head, like upper chakra things going on, blurriness, vertigo. There's a lot of shifts taking place. This is helping with your pathways. I feel a lot of sacred mother energy that came in to assist with this. There is like there's also like a reclaiming of energy. Things that were owed to you are coming back in. So this could translate as miracles. It's yes, it's miraculous. I don't know. For those who have been into spirituality for a while, or I don't know, metaphysics, there's like the saying that the universe, there's a universal intelligence, and everything happens in a type of order. um the universe doesn't make mistakes. So technically, if you think about it that way, there are no miracles, but to us it could be a miracle. The creator already knows what it's going to do, what decisions it's going to make, how things are going to come together, or play out. But to us, it's going to feel like miracles taking place, because these are blessings that have been deprived or delayed due to, I don't know, destiny swapping, pathway stealing, all types of horrifying and just selfish actions that were taking place by lower vibrational entities, misguided entities. Um, so there is this energy of miracles coming in. So you might see like things turning around, I don't know, just unknowingly, unexpectedly. It does feel money related. It does feel even emotionally, like emotionally related. I think it could happen off of an emotional release. So like maybe one day you're crying, or I don't know, you experience like a very strong emotional release, and the next day it almost feels like you're in a different timeline. Okay, yeah, they're saying what's being released: scarcity consciousness, self-sabotaging energies. These energies feel like they were trying to be projected upon the star seeds, trying to be projected upon the empaths, those who care deeply for others, those who feel, those who've been doing the work. That's coming to a close. That's definitely being healed. Um yeah, shame is being released. And I do also think those who going back to the receptivity and vulnerability energies, I think it's going to be way easier moving forward to receive help or to ask for help. uh, a lot of uh, a lot of deep wounding can, I think a lot of times, especially empaths, they feel like they know what it feels like to have been burdened, to feel burdened, to feel like you want to help everybody and you almost have nothing for yourself. So in turn, there's like this idea like, okay, I'm not going to share my pains with other people because I don't want to feel like a burden. But I feel like spirit is reminding us that we can hold space, we can hold communal space to help each other, because there's nothing like hearing another person's plight and seeing the similarity. This is not trauma bonding, but this is seeing that you are not alone in your troubles. You are not the only one who has experienced it. And some of the people you might be sharing space with probably got themselves out of it or found the pathway out of it. So this is about, everyone doing the work and creating those pathways, creating those templates to help the person behind them. So remember, it's okay to, maybe connect with a trusted friend or a trusted relative, someone you can share your feelings with, and to find peace with that, or and you never know what words they could have for you that could help to transmute the energy. As long as you are doing the work actively to get yourself out of that, to transmute, to uplift your vibration, it will be that assistance, that support from other earth angelics will come in. You are not a burden. You are experiencing emotions. They're coming through you. So long as you are aware and you are actively doing the work, spirit, the creator will always send people to help and assist you. um so definitely no shame in looking for help, looking for healing. uh this is all leading to a liberation energy. um i feel like a lot of this energy feels so like refreshing. I think a lot of ideas could be coming back to a lot of us. um Massive pathway clearings, those blockages, those energies, I don't know, like maybe if you tried to do some, if you tried to partake or try to take on a project and there were just so many delays, so many things stopping you, it just feels like there's going to be more of a seamless wave with that. uh Quite possibly even people, you I don't know, you seeing something online where you could get something for free, I don't know, free assistance, free guidance, free resources that could help you to further um manifest what you're looking to create. It feels like there's a range of possibilities. This is a very exciting energy, because now like it feels like there's so much space to do what you want, and it's almost like you're not even limited to past, I don't know if there was like a patterning of how you used to work, how you used to get your business done. Now it's like spirit is saying, like, imagine you received a grant, and now you don't have to limit yourself to like a couple of resources. You're like, it almost feels limitless. Spirit is saying to get into the energy of that. Like, imagine like the universe is not on a budget. There's no budget. Anything can happen. So there's definitely a wider potential with the things that you're looking to do. And there's something with the work that you're doing on this planet. It feels like this energy feels like for those who came to do good works. Like, there, okay, so like an example, if you're a carpenter, you're gonna, instead of working in your basement, or in a basement that someone lent is offering you once a week, now you have this 3 level workshop with like so many materials, and it's just given to you for free, or it was donated to you. I don't know, just something out of nowhere. And I'm not saying every situation is going to look like that, but spirit is saying to imagine that. Start to get yourself into that alignment of thinking, get into the mantras, get into the energy of it, because right now it's all about alignment. The timing, time is an illusion. It's all about the alignment. The more you get into the alignment, you close that gap of time. A lot of us have come out stronger. The confidence is definitely up. I feel like there's also a solar plexus shift as well. This makes sense. There's a lot of solar energies, and we are approaching summer, coming up in about a month. And so yeah, this, it feels like there's just there's really nothing stopping you at this point, especially since they were saying self sabotage is being transmuted, or is going out the window. I really feel like there's really nothing stopping you, and with them clearing out opposition and getting back what's yours, because there is definitely something in the energy of spirit, sacred guardians retrieving your goods, like one by one, and not stopping until all of it is retrieved. If it feels like you're not really, like, I don't think anything is really stopping these particular ancestors. These ancestors are not asking questions. They get the green light from the divine, and it's go. It's on go. So I get this energy of relax, enjoy your life, enjoy these moments. um they're being very clear. This is about your personal life. This is not about, you know, despite what is being shown on, platforms, media, whatever. Like, spirit is very focused on each and every person in this room, on your life, making your life good. You're the vibration that this planet feeds off of, so make it a good vibration. Enjoy your life. Start building your life. If you've been feeling like you were in a stagnant energy, it really is time to start shaking up the vibe. Regardless of that, it does feel like the energy is going to shift anyway. The inspiration will come around and move you and inspire you. Let's see what else is coming through. Ooh. Yes, confirmation. Embrace the moment. And I'll read the message on this card here, just to kind of give you guys a picture. This is a card with a woman standing in front of a sun, and a hand over her eye, her left eye, which is the left side is receptivity, and a rainbow is going into the eye. So the message on this card is saying, embrace this day, this very moment. Think positively today and repel those negative thoughts. Try not to judge yourself or others. This may be harder than you think. What is actually happening is that you are changing your energy. So again, this is about vibing up. If you need to do unicorn meditations, you can connect with that. Either printing out a picture of a unicorn, holding that image in your mind, playing, higher hertz frequencies, or you can tune into YouTube. There are plenty of uh, high vibrational, you know, positive thinking, either whether they be mantras, affirmations, or just the frequencies. This is about mindset, changing your mind. They're also saying, for those who are in this space, it feels like there's more to learn. So if I don't know, they're showing like textbooks, and maybe some information coming in that totally shifts your how you think. So learning about a healing modality, or learning about like sort metaphysical tools, things, practices that help to change how you think, uh body regulation, nervous system regulation. This feels like day-to-day stuff, so that you can keep going. Again, I think there could have been some patterns from the last cycle that maybe you needed to keep carrying out to protect yourself, but they're just saying this is just for self-regulation, just so you're more comfortable, because things could feel scary whenever we're jumping or we could be jumping timelines, we could be shifting timelines. Whenever we're on a different timeline, it's always a bit disorienting. So just give yourself time to adjust. This is about adjusting, so that you're not regressing, you're not looking back to what felt comfortable. um I am going to pull a fairy card before I pull an animal totem. All right. So we have joy, simply joy. Yeah, the energies feel like very serene, very calming. I feel like the spirit is not looking to have us any more stressed out than how society is trying to impose on us, with everything going on, whether it be the economy or housing or whatever the case may be. Right now is about us being the vibration, us being the higher vibration. So I pulled a few more cards. So I do feel spirit is directing us to lean into our joyous energies. This again, the guidance for this, looking to the gratitude of the little things. You went into work, I don't know, someone brought in bagels. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, universe, for these free bagels. And then you notice more good things happening. Pay attention to all that stuff. Pay attention to all of it. um that's going to be very important, because the more you do that, if you feel like you're not someone who does that, the more you do it, it becomes a reprogramming, and now it's just a simple everyday thing that you just normally do. Then that's your energy signature. And then now you are, in the eyes of the universe, you're someone that receives blessings. You're someone that, oh, you just won the lottery, or I don't know, I just felt like paying for this person's coffee today. I saw you at the store, I just something came over me. I wanted to pay for your coffee. There's a light around you. Don't be afraid to relax and take a moment for yourself. Self-care is number one. Okay. Spiritual baths, cleansing yourself when you get in from being outside. um no contact, turning off your phone for a day. Letting folks know, maybe if there's an emergency, they'll know how to reach you. You can set that up for yourself. But just limiting the outside noise, so you can recalibrate, you can get yourself back into feeling recharged. And finally, they're saying adapt. And the message on this card is saying you will get yourself to where you want to be. And that's exactly what I mentioned earlier about getting used to the new timeline, getting used to the better vibes, the higher vibe. Because believe it or not, and I don't even think I need to say that in this particular space, but the vibes on the planet are increasing every day. So it's all about adjusting. Everyone's going to have to adjust, whether they like it or not. And some people are going to be in a certain type of mood, and it's about seeing that and recognizing, oh, they're reacting to the planetary energies. They weren't ready. They weren't ready. And for those, and it's so crazy, and not crazy, but it's so interesting because I remember almost 10 years ago when I started getting into metaphysics, and the lecturers that I tapped in with would always say, some people are going to get left behind. I didn't know what that meant. I think for me, I quite literally thought this was, oh, we're all going to get on a spaceship and we're flying out of here. And people that don't want to get on the spaceship, they're going to get left behind. But now today, like, I mean, obviously that wasn't the case, but like, I fully understand. Fully understand. This is about your energy. This is about your resonance. This is about your path, your earth path, your earth walk. So it is important to adapt, get into the adaptive energies, and be the example that others can look at, and to know like they're not crazy. Things are changing, and this is how you can adjust yourself to the energies. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull an animal totem to wrap up this reading. Let's see what the highest side. From so if for those who would like to tap in with the animal totems for guidance going into the next week. All right, so we have two animal totems, and a third that is sort of, I think, butterfly just kind of came in to confirm transformative energies. We have grasshopper and elephant. And with grasshopper, this speaks to timeline jumps. So definitely, uh, that definitely confirms and aligns with the reading that came through. Grasshopper also speaks to taking a leap of faith. All right, so getting into an energy of surrendering to where your heart is guiding you to. The more you heal the heart space, the more you get into your vulnerabilities, and now there's something calling to you that's coming from within. You can't help it. So the more you lean into the strength of your heart, and that's why they always say this person, oh, this person got heart, this person got heart, because that's really where your strength comes from. There's a full trust that you're gonna be okay. Even in the worst circumstances, the worst earthly circumstances where you lose your life, you are an eternal soul. You will never die. So if you move like that, you have this fearlessness. And and a lot of times what's on the other side is not danger. It's the next level. It's a level up. And that's one of the earthly things as humans we have to get through, is addressing fear and releasing it, and realizing a lot of it is illusions. And the way that these quote unquote powers how they've been moving, is to continue instilling fear in people, and to make people feel like they oh, don't become an entrepreneur, or don't leave your job, it's going to be unstable. And yeah, maybe some of that could happen, but for how long? If you really are talented, you really have this inner desire to do something, chances are things have been arranged for you. So, and yes, we're very much aware of a lot of what opposition has been up to, but these things have been getting cleared out. They've been getting addressed. We see it everywhere. We see it in the news. We see people getting called out, being exposed. The times are changing. We also have elephant totem that speaks to community, leaning on each other. We mentioned this earlier. I mentioned this earlier. Community, not leaving anyone behind, in a sense of, this does not mean to let people drag you down, but this is about having the foresight to see that someone just needs one handout, or maybe they just need a bit of light spoken into them or poured into them, and then they'll be good to go. you know I think this is also a message that moving forward, a lot of the works that are going to be done are going to be community based. I think a lot of the way things have been moving in society is going to force people to look at each other and say, okay, well, I don't like what's happening. Hey, if you feel like you don't like what's happening in government, how can you address what's happening in your town? What do you want to see in your town, in terms of education, in terms of better food? What do you want to see for your children? So now it's time for all of us to stop keeping our doors locked and not trusting each other, and really start to build community and create integrity in that, so there's not even a pocket where someone can come in and infiltrate, because that's how things were before. And we need to get back to that, where we can start trusting each other. So I think Elephant is coming in to remind us, like, this is what it's all about. Life is interconnected. We all rely on each other. We're existing in an ecosystem. Yes, we have our individual paths, but this is about togetherness. So in the higher vibrational energies, that's what spirit is talking about. We know how people can be. We know sometimes people can't be trusted, but this is what the direction is, and it makes sense, especially for where the earth is going dimensionally. So that is what's coming through for this collective. I thank you all for listening. I hope it resonated. I will answer any questions in the chat. And yeah, peace to you all. Ashe.